All right, let's check out Bill Gross and talk about his trades in GameStop and discuss GameStop and the rest of the market coming up next on the Short Vol Show Live.
You're watching Famous Dave on YouTube.
Trading GameStop in the January short squeeze. Tell me about that.
Sure. Well, I got in too early. I got in with options like a good Robinhood trader, I guess, and selling options, not buying options, selling calls. At around the $150, $200 level, it went to.
All right, so I don't want to get in trouble for rebroadcasting someone else's content, but here's a little bit of a clip from this, I believe it's Bloomberg interview with Bill Gross, Primco co-founder, and he was talking about how he made money in GameStop. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out the whole thing. But essentially what he said was once the stock got up around 200 and something the first time, he sold some calls at the money call. So this is a guy who's a billionaire, right? So for him, selling naked calls, he's got plenty of money in his account to weather the storm, so to speak. So he's not going to get a tap on the shoulder like maybe you or I would, saying, okay, well, if GameStop is trading 200 and now if all of a sudden it goes to 500, he's not going to be forced to cover, A, and B, he can put up the margin required to sell a bunch of naked calls in GameStop, right? And the interviewer seems a little bit confused about options, and he's saying, oh, well, you're only selling calls, you're not actually short the stock. And Bill Gross tries to kind of correct him and say, well, actually, if the calls end up in the money at expiration, then I will have to, I'll be forced to actually, give up the stock at those prices. So I will end up being short the stock if expiration comes and these calls are in the money. So essentially, when you're selling a naked calls in a situation like this, it's the same thing as being short the stock, really. You're getting a little bit more premium, but each call represents 100 shares short that you're going to be responsible to deliver if the stock is trading above the strike price of the calls you're selling. So just as a quick example, let's take a look at where some of these calls that he might have sold closed yesterday. So if we go out, let's go out to an April expiration here. So these April calls that expire in 23 days. I think he was talking about somewhere around the 250 strike. So kind of selling at the money calls when the stock was around here. So 250 calls right here went out 56 bid at 61. So let's just call it $60, right? So each call, $60. So you times that by 100, right? So each call is worth essentially $6,000, right? So these calls, right now, stock's only 200. So that's all essentially what you call fluff, or there's no intrinsic value to these calls, right? So if, for example, we were looking at the 200 call, stock went out 208. So if we were looking at the 200 call, the intrinsic value of the 200 call with stock 208 is $8, right? You take the strike price of the call, you subtract it from the price of the stock, and you get the intrinsic value. But these calls are out of the money, thus they have no intrinsic value at the moment. And so you're going to collect $6,000 for each call you sell if the stock is lower than that on expiration. And this is a great strategy if you have the money to back you up in your account. You're able to cover the cost of selling these calls, and you're able to ride this out until such a time as it's profitable. Now, if you sold one of these calls and we got towards expiration, right, the ones we're looking at, they expire in 23 days. If you sold these calls and stock was still hot, above this price, if stock was above this price around expiration, you could roll this call out. You could buy this one back and sell one a couple months out. For example, if we were to look out to July, the same call, the 250 call, is going to be trading for a lot higher price. And now it's 90 instead of 60, or 95 instead of 60, and but you've got to stick it out and wait that extra time to realize your profitability and close it out, or have them expire worthless. But that's kind of where he's coming from. He said that he sold the calls on the initial run up, and then covered them when it went back down. So if we go back and look at this, let's go out to just look at it like that. So, this initial run up, he sold the calls when the stock was around 250, and it went way against him. He said he was down 10 million at one point, and then when the stock went back down to this like 40 level, he covered his position, right? He got out. Now, he didn't buy, he didn't let the calls expire worthless. He bought them for some price way lower than what he sold them for. And then when we had this other pop again, I'm not sure exactly where he sold more, but he said he sold more and reset his position, going short again. So it's kind of always interesting when people reveal their position. And a lot of these big guys, they don't often reveal their position. But for some reason, this is what makes a lot of this like Robinhood retail crowd angry, that people like this make money. But we're all trying to make money, and anybody who's willing to get in there and take a risk deserves to make money if their risk works out, whether it's this Bill Gross guy or if it's just you or me. Kind of makes sense to me. All right, so where are we right now? Well, GameStop, it looks like it's up about, $7 before the open here. We'll see if that holds. It's funny, there's a bunch of articles online about how GameStop is down, although it's currently up right now. Then, we're very close to an announcement with UVXY for a reverse split. UVXY trading in the 7s. Let's see where we are right now. Did it fall off my... It didn't fall off my... Oh, no, here it is. Yeah, it traded down to... It closed 706. So we are looking for them to announce the reverse split coming up very soon. Let's see. Or if they didn't... Yeah, they still haven't announced it. It says on the Six Figures website they're expecting it 13 July. I would not be surprised if we got the announcement for this week. I would not be surprised at all, because this is usually when they announce it, right? So I would be looking and ready for them to announce the split in UVXY very soon. Volatility has come in quite a bit. We're still flirting with that 20 level in the VIX. Take a quick look here at the term structure and see what we'll see. And if I just get out of the way here. So term structure currently 7.85% contango. Nice spread, right? It's a very wide spread between spot and the M1 as we come into expiration here, and the new month starting with a very wide spread. So we expect this to come in, usually it's like 2 to 2.5 points wide on expiration. This is wider than usual, so kind of interesting there. And I expect that spread to narrow. Usually what happens is, I'll go back to that in a second, but usually what happens is we're going to see the spread narrow and contango actually build quite a bit. I was just looking at this to see what this says right here. So it's showing only UVXY made up only yesterday as we just had expiration. only consisting of the April future, right? As the March future rolled off, that's kind of where we are. If we do look at the futures here, we can see once again, not a super eventful expiration, and VXX, UVXY all at low levels right now. KSE, I will short Lulu. Okay, let's take a look at Lulu. I have no opinion on Lulu right now. I know that, it was one of the darlings of the whole COVID crisis, and it was bid up because people, they sat at home and spent their stimulus checks on Lulu and other stuff during the COVID thing. But now, as everything starts to open up, people may be moving on to other issues. You can see Lulu has been, I'd say, somewhat sort of stagnant lately. Here's the chart over the last year. You can see this big run up here, and then we've kind of just stayed in this 275 to 400 range, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just hang out in this range for quite a while. Now, it seems on the face of it with Lulu like, oh wow, these people make high-end, yoga pants. How could it be such a valuable company? But management has done a really good job with this company, and the stock has performed incredibly well. It seems amazing how well it's done, but I would be careful about shorting this one just because they have impressed the market over and over again, and they seem to have good management going on. Tesla, yeah, I don't. But it's up to you. Obviously, I'm not telling you what to do at all. Bitcoin, I remain on the sidelines. I know I have several followers who are really into Bitcoin and have made great money from that. Congratulations. But I remain on the sidelines on that one. I do still have the short in GME, although I'm looking to take profits and slowly move out of that assuming we continue lower pretty quickly. Casey, I will short any other right-wing company. I would encourage you to separate your politics from trading because, we don't want to vote with our trades. If you want to vote at the voting polls, and but voting with our trades, you can get into some trouble because, with trading, we just want to make money. Whether it's where it's from, it doesn't matter. And if we start to put politics in there, then you get in a situation where you're like, well, am I willing to lose money to stick by my beliefs? And you don't want to get into that kind of like contradictions in your mind as far as I'm concerned. So I would be careful with that. People who know me know that I am a lefty, and I'm on the left side as far as politics, but I encourage all political views on this channel. A. B. I don't believe that like half the country is right and half the country is wrong, no matter which side you're on. And C. I try to leave politics out of trading. When we're looking at trading, we're looking at the math of it. We're looking at momentum, things like that. And I understand when people say, okay, well, I have a 401k or something, or I have some sort of savings plan. I can decide which stocks I want to put that savings plan in. And in that case, if you're sort of activist, then you might say, well, I don't want to invest in this particular, if there's two companies that pretty much do the same thing, but and pretty much have the same prospects, but one of them, I don't agree with their politics, then, you might say, well, I'll invest in this one instead of the other. That is different than just saying, okay, well, I don't like this company because they're, let's take Goya. I don't know if Goya trades, but remember Goya was the President Trump, the Goya guy, the CEO of Goya, supported President Trump. So President Trump had pictures of Goya in the Oval Office and was promoting the company. Well, if I didn't like that fact and I didn't like Goya because the president was promoting it, that's one thing. But I wouldn't want to just short the stock just because of that idea. There's the Goya thing from before. Anyways, I appreciate you, KC, for coming on and engaging with me in conversation. I appreciate everybody else for watching today. And best of luck. We'll see what happens. I continue to remain short GME. And there's the chart right there. And we'll see where we go from here today. For all of you who received your stimulus today or in the next couple of days, congratulations. I wonder if stimulus checks are going to result in meme stocks rallying because people put their money in the bank and then they rally. Now, if you got a stimulus check today and you wanted to deposit in Robinhood, it would take, I don't know how quickly they give you access to your money. It might be immediately or it might take a couple of days to clear, but we'll see if that affects things. It seems like with GameStop, the craziness to the long side has been interrupted slightly with the current down move. And that, of course, affects psychology with things. But we will see if GameStop has a third life and can rally off here and take out that 350 high and move higher. I continue to be short it, but we will see what happens. I don't advocate anyone following me because I haven't been very profitable as of late, and certainly with this trade hasn't worked out yet, but we'll see what happens moving forward. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will leave a link to Bill Gross in the description, and have a great rest of your day, folks. I'll see you next time.
You're watching Famous Games.